now, an Eyewitness News late edition.
This is the Tri-State Area's news leader, Channel 7 Eyewitness News, with Bill Beutel, Diana Williams, Scott Clark with sports, Sam Champion with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast, and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Diana Williams.
And I'm Greg Hurst, and tonight for Bill Beutel, here's what's happening. William Kunstler was sometimes called the most hated lawyer in America. He often had clients the nation detested, but he also had an amazing ability to win against the toughest odds. That spirit kept Kunstler fighting long after many of his radical comrades faded away. Fighting, that is, until today, when a heart attack killed William Kunstler at age 76. You could always recognize William Kunstler with the glasses perched high atop his head. His bushy eyebrows turned white, and his raspy New York voice got even more distinctive with the years, though it stayed just as strident.
As we have said in our statement, people who live in glass houses should not throw stones, and the president is throwing plenty of stones.
Kunstler had a pacemaker installed last month, but he still propelled himself with the inner fire that prompted the ACLU to send Kunstler to Mississippi to represent the Freedom Riders. Kunstler called it his rebirth. He defended the Black Panthers, draft dodgers, and he stood beside Dennis Banks and the American Indian movement. It was, Kunstler said, all part of the same battle.
It's the people's war, and the people have to fight it and be part of it.
Kunstler solidified his reputation defending radicals who disrupted the Democratic Convention in 1968. Their pitched battles with Chicago police were called the Days of Rage. Then, as the 60s and 70s faded away, Kunstler kept charging. Last year, he estimated that 80% of his workload was pro bono. He was earning about $90,000 a year from speeches, freelance writing, and the occasional paying client. One who paid, and paid well, was mobster John Gotti. But Kunstler also defended Long Island gunman Colin Ferguson. It was Kunstler who tried to present Ferguson's murder of 6 people as a case of black rage.
No, it's a defense. It's part of the defense of a mental situation.
Kunstler had remarkable successes. He helped clear El Said Nosser of charges he assassinated Rabbi Meir Kahana. He persuaded the Supreme Court that burning the flag is protected free speech. And he persuaded prosecutors to set aside murder conspiracy charges against Kabila Shabazz, the daughter of Malcolm X.
The charges would have given her 90 years in jail if they accumulated them, plus a multi-million-dollar fine. They have to give all of that up.
Ironically, civil rights attorney Michael Warren said that he told Kunstler just a few weeks ago that he should slow down, but, says Warren, Kunstler just laughed.
Critics of William Kunstler say that he picked controversial clients purely for the publicity, but even though he had his detractors, Kunstler was also known as a defender of the poor, the underdog. Both sides of his reputation made him a legend and brought him praise tonight, as we hear from Jada Dapper.
From his cramped downstairs office in Greenwich Village, William Kunstler quite literally changed the American justice system. For the past 13 years, Ron Kuby worked by his side.
For almost 50 years, William Kunstler stood between the oppressor and the oppressed. I mean, he always stood for justice. He always fought for the underdog everywhere. He defended all of us. He was always out there. And his absence is going to be missed really beyond expression.
Kunstler called the Chicago 7 case his personal Rubicon. That's where a young lawyer named Gerald Lefcourt met and learned from him.
He always used to refer to himself as the lawyer priest, so to speak, that it was a calling, an opportunity to do something for, humankind, rather than just go out and try to make money.
But without a doubt, defending the demonized made Kunstler few friends. Many, for instance, never forgave him for taking on the case of El Said Nosser.
There's a point where you represent a client, you do your job, you do the best you can. There's another point where you leave the courtroom and the client is a wonderful person and you embrace the client and the client becomes you. And that's where Kunstler went astray.
Kunstler would have disagreed, though, for the Constitution guarantees everyone a defense.
Bill Kunstler believed in the Sixth Amendment, and in those cases where all the lawyers were not prepared to publicly associate themselves with those clients or those causes, Kunstler was there, and consistently there.
It's unlikely that William Kunstler's shoes can be filled, at least by any one person. But perhaps that is his greatest legacy, to have inspired a generation of lawyers who wear those shoes and fight for the underdog every day. J.D. Dapper, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Funeral services for William Kunstler will be private. A memorial service will be announced later this week. Greg?
There's another big story tonight. It's a hurricane, Hurricane Louise, a monstrous storm on a collision course with several islands in the Caribbean. Louise packs a mean punch with sustained winds near 140 miles per hour. Hurricane warnings are posted in the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. In San Juan, the rush is on to get to safety. Residents and tourists jammed airports tonight looking for available flights. David Navarro arrived in San Juan this evening and he filed this report.
With a raging hurricane bigger than the island itself barreling toward Puerto Rico, residents boarded up windows and jammed airports as Louise edges ever closer. Yesterday, Governor Pedro Rosselló suspended Sunday and holiday blue laws so residents could stock up on supplies. People waited up to 3 hours in long lines to purchase bottled water, candles, and canned goods. It's the first thing residents tell you when you arrive on the island. Get supplies and get them now. With the potential of being one of the most devastating storms to hit Puerto Rico in a half a century, government officials are bracing for the worst. No one knows what to expect. No one knows how hard it will hit. All they know is it's coming. Reporting from Puerto Rico, David Navarro, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
It's predicted that Louise could be the most devastating storm in the Caribbean in half a century, even worse than Hugo 6 years ago.
This is a powerful and very dangerous hurricane. Sam Champion is tracking Louise as it moves through the Caribbean tonight. Sam?
And Diana, everything about Louise still says dangerous tonight. As we take a look at this picture, and all the northern Caribbean islands, including Puerto Rico, under a hurricane warning at this hour. This is the most likely path of Hurricane Louise, just under Puerto Rico, then making a curve up toward the north. It does not look like this storm will pose a threat to the U.S. coastline at this time, but all of these islands, and that's including Antigua, which this eye of this hurricane is just about 70 miles east of Antigua right now, all the way through St. Martin, also Anguilla, and up to Puerto Rico. All of these islands are under serious danger and a serious threat from this powerful storm. Storm surges up to 9 feet above normal, heavy driving rains and winds again. High sustained winds at 140 miles per hour with this storm. We'll be back to update you on not only the situation for Louise, but our weather situation in just a minute. Greg, Diana.
See you then. Thank you, Sam. Well, peace is not in the forecast tonight in Bosnia. The deadline for Serb rebels to remove heavy weapons around Sarajevo passed hours ago, so now NATO bombing is expected to resume. Bosnian Serb television showed what is said to be heavy tanks moving away from Sarajevo. But the Serbs' commanding general says he can't remove all the weapons without approval from his parliament. It's not known exactly when NATO airstrikes might resume.
An air disaster off Long Island this Labor Day. A small plane went down in a deadly crash. Thousands watched on shore as the single-engine plane plunged into the ocean. Lifeguards and boaters acted quickly, notifying the Coast Guard. A lot of people were stunned by what they saw.
It just looked like a corkscrew. It just kept coming down like this, you know. And all of a sudden, we thought he was going to pull out, but he didn't. He just splashed in the water, and that was it.
One man was pronounced dead on arrival at Good Samaritan Hospital. The other remains in critical condition tonight at Stony Brook Hospital.
For others, this Labor Day was a day of pride and fun before going back to work. And the holiday celebrations won't soon be forgotten. The Labor Day parade wound up Fifth Avenue. Thousands of union members marched to the theme, Standing Up for America's Working Families. The Labor Day parade now takes place every other year. The Grand Marshal this year was Ron Carey, president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. President Clinton had labor on his mind at a picnic in California. He was cheered when he said workers should share in huge profits that businesses earn. And summer's last hurrah was a day at the beach for people all across the country. On Long Island, the sand, surf, and sun brought the season to a perfect end. For others, Calypso was the way to go. As David Ushery reports, Brooklyn went Caribbean.
Can you feel it? Hot, hot, hot. Oh, this annual explosion of Caribbean culture is...
It's the bomb. That's the bomb. Yeah. This is the bomb. Work it, work it, work it, work it.
The bomb? Explain that to me.
It's fly. I mean, this is hype. This is the biggest jam of the year.
You got it. Keep in mind the Caribbean melting pot starts boiling for this day months in advance, and then finally boils over, spilling onto Eastern Parkway in the form of flashy, colorful costumes, pulsing, gyrating dancers, and smiling, smiling faces.
The best part is seeing all the floats and meeting new people and just having plain old fun.
Mayor Giuliani came for some fun, along with the former NAACP exec Ben Chavis and Mighty Sparrow, the king of Calypso. Something for everybody.
Because when you come here, you hear all the nice calypso music, the reggae music, everything from Trinidad, Jamaica, all the West Indies, all over. You jump, you have fun.
This is a natural home for the parade because the communities in Crown Heights and Flatbush are homes to more than 200,000 people of 24 Caribbean countries. And it's a safe bet, just about every single one of them is here. But most will tell you there is a message in all this fun.
Oh, it's part of the culture, and we just want to keep it like that, you know. We don't want to lose the culture.
This flavor won't be lost anytime soon. In Crown Heights, I'm David Ushery, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
It is a great parade.
Place to be.
Yep. Still ahead, chaos at a police precinct. Bullets fly, a cop is stabbed, another man dies. We'll tell you what happened.
Plus, a call for men at the women's conference in China, and Winnie Mandela is kept out. We'll explain. Plus, the Giants took a pounding, but there was one bright moment, paying tribute to that man, Phil Simms. We'll have a live report from the Meadowlands a little bit later on Eyewitness News.
It was no ordinary Labor Day at the 24th Police Precinct on the Upper West Side. In a flash, violence erupted. An officer was stabbed, then shot in the leg, and a man with a knife was shot dead. Sarah Wallace explains how it all happened.
Because of the wound, paramedics first believed that Officer 30-year-old Carlos Crespo had been shot in the chest as well as the leg. The confusion understandable after gunfire erupted in the complaint room at the 24th Precinct shortly after noontime. But officials now say that 61-year-old Bernard Gardner, a neighborhood resident shot dead at the scene, was armed with a knife. He had burst past the front desk into the complaint room, lunging at Officer Karen Huber. She was uninjured, but later hospitalized for trauma. Officer Crespo tried to come to her aid.
Officer Crespo was stabbed in the left chest. He drew his service revolver. At the same time, police officer David Conley, who was assigned as the switchboard operator, got up from his post and came to both officers' aid in that complaint room.
A total of 5 shots were fired, 3 by Officer Connolly, 2 by Crespo. How he was hit in the knee is not yet clear.
Police officers defended themselves. It appears as if they handled it exactly the way they should. It's a shame.
Other than making all of our facilities armed fortresses, you want to keep a certain openness to the public. That's what we're there for. And these circumstances, unfortunate, we'll try to see if there's anything to learn from it, but we don't have any intention of making our precinct stations pretty much off limits to everybody.
Because he worked inside the precinct here, Officer Crespo was not required to wear his bulletproof vest. Tonight, he's in St. Luke's Hospital, but he should be released within a couple of days. From the 24th Precinct, Sarah Wallace, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And at this hour, Officer Crespo is listed in stable condition at St. Luke's Roosevelt.
The murder trial of O.J. Simpson resumes tomorrow morning in Los Angeles after taking Labor Day off, and defense attorneys will try to wrap up their case this week. They're expected to ask Judge Ito to let the jury hear more of the explosive Mark Furman tapes and may appeal if he refuses. They've already filed a motion to suppress the bloody glove Furman says that he found at Simpson's estate. And 2 defense witnesses are ready to testify that Furman did use racial slurs to describe interracial couples like Simpson and his former wife. In the meantime, half a world away in Beijing, the United Nations World Conference on Women opened with a call for men to join in a revolution for equality. Delegates were given a big welcome by China, but security police barred South African delegate Winnie Mandela from the hall because she was late. First Lady Hillary Clinton is scheduled to address the conference later today, Tuesday.
Still ahead, getting ready to walk the runway. Take a look. There they are. It's an Atlantic City tradition coming up next.
And a carousel that's been making the rounds for years could come to a screeching halt. We'll tell you why coming up on Eyewitness News. The 50 women set to compete in the Miss America pageant are in Atlantic City tonight, ready for the countdown to the crown. And take a look. Here they are. The contestants spent the weekend at Disney World and flew into Atlantic City this morning. The big night is September 16th, so they'll spend the next 2 weeks preparing. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the Miss America pageant.
Someone with the right money could make the people in the town of Hempstead very happy, especially if they use that money to purchase the town's carousel. The carousel has provided years of fun for families there, but their last rides may be coming up because the owners want to sell the old carousel. And as Art McFarland reports, Hempstead is trying to save it.
This picture would have been much the same even 85 years ago when the Local Carousel first opened to the public.
When I was my son's age, we used to come here all the time with my cousins, with family. It was the family place to be.
And you don't have to look far to find Long Islanders who grew up enjoying the carousel.
I'd go and reach for the gold ring, and if you got the gold ring, you got to go for an extra ride. So I'd lean way out, holding on, and I wouldn't put the strap on, and they'd yell at me.
The ring-grabbing machine is no longer there, and many of those riding today realize the carousel itself may soon be a thing of the past.
When I was pregnant with all of my kids, I came here, and I'm trying to get them to have their last little ride now.
The carousel is part of an amusement complex aimed at small children. The property is being sold, and the owners, who have threatened to sell the carousel before, seem serious this time, saying they will break it up and auction it off piece by piece, horse by horse.
I'm determined that we're not going to permit Nassau County's heritage to be cut up and auctioned off.
Nassau County Executive Thomas Galata says there is already interest within the private sector toward buying the carousel on behalf of the county and moving it to another location.
I think that between the business community and those who do hold cherished memories of that carousel, that we'll be able to raise significant dollars to help finance the acquisition and the preservation of that carousel.
The hope, of course, from parents here today is that the carousel will somehow be saved and be around long enough for their children to have their own memories. In Baldwin, Long Island, Art McFarland, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Great place for kids, young and old. Scott Clark's up next with sports, and the Giants were just punished tonight. We're live at the Meadowlands with reaction. Plus, he's back where he belongs, a moving tribute to Phil Sims.
And the Yankees are moving on up. Their battle against Seattle, that's coming up next. But first, here are tonight's winning New York lottery numbers drawn earlier this evening.
And for those of you holding New Jersey tickets, here are your winning numbers. Good luck. Well, this Labor Day was certainly a labor for the Giants out of the Meadowlands. Scott Clark,
their worst home loss ever. The best play the Giants put together came at halftime, and it didn't count. More on that in a moment. But first, the bad news, Giants fans. Here's the bad news right here. Emmett. When the opposing players know you by just one name, you're something special. Emmitt Smith was special tonight. There he goes. The first time he touched the ball tonight, he ran 60 yards for a touchdown. As for the Giants, they couldn't get anything going. When they weren't running into themselves, they were committing costly penalties, and they left the head coach, Dan Reeves, doing a lot of this. The Cowboys just kept rolling. If it isn't Emmitt Smith, it's Troy Aikman to Michael Irvin. What a trio. The Cowboys led 21-0 at halftime and left the record Giants crowd with just one reason to celebrate. Phil Sims became the last Giant to put number 11 on, and then came the best Giants play of the night. Here it is, Phil Sims to Lawrence Taylor, complete. And there you go. That's all for the Giants highlights. Emmitt Smith went on to run for 165 yards, 163 yards and 4 scores. Cowboys spanked the Giants 35-0. Mark Stevens live at Giants Stadium now. Mark?
Scott with the Giants wide receiver Mike Sherrard. Mike, with so much emphasis put on this game, being the Cowboys, the hunted, Monday Night Football and all that, how do you bounce back from this?
Well, like I said before the game, or the week leading up to it, that of course it's an important game for us, but let's see how the team responds after this game. And we got blown out, and hopefully we'll play well next week.
Are they that much better than you, or was this opening night jitters and all of that?
Tonight they're that much better than us. I mean, I have to give them a lot of credit. They played well, you know, both sides of the ball, and you know, we can bounce back. It's a long season. We're 0-1, just like half the teams in the league, but we have to play a lot better next week.
Okay, and that's in Kansas City. For tonight, it didn't go well. Live from the Meadowlands, Mark Stevens, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. Scott?
All right, Mark, thank you very much. The Yankees continue to gain ground in the wild cards now. Just 1.5 back of the Royals, 1 game off the Mariners' pace. Ah, the smell of it. With visions of the wild card dancing in their heads, Andy Pettitte won for the 5th time in his last 7 decisions. The Bronx Bombers provided more than enough support at the plate. Bernie Williams joined Wade Boggs and Paul O'Neill with a 3-hit day, including this 3-run homer. He knocked in 4. Yankees a season-best 19 hits. They played the big bashing game in a 13-3 rout. Elsewhere, Kansas City split with the Blue Jays. Chicago beat Texas big. Minnesota over Milwaukee 9-6. California edged the Orioles. Detroit over Cleveland. And as for the Mets,
They worked overtime in San Diego against the Padres tonight. They were just wild for a winner at Jack Murphy Stadium. They went to extra innings, tied at 1. In the 10th, with the bases loaded, Scott Livingston chopped one off Doug Henry. Down the line, past Rico Bronya. There you go. Biff Roberts scored the game winner, 2-1 Padres. On the board, Chicago. They shut out Colorado, Cincinnati over Houston. San Francisco beat Montreal, Florida over the Pirates 7-3. Atlanta edged the Cardinals, and the Dodgers took care of the Phils. And at the U.S. Open, while 7th-seeded Kimiko Date fell to Brenda Schultz-McCarthy, all other top seeds advanced, including Andre Agassi, Boris Becker, and Monica Seles, who put it in writing after besting Anke Huber in straight sets to advance to the quarterfinals. And tonight, Patrick McEnroe bested Daniel Vacek in straight sets, but nobody can do better than Vacek did on this serve. 178 miles per hour, well, as if. I'm Scott Clark. That's it for sports.
It looked good. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Scott.
Sure it was.
Yeah. Still ahead, Sam has more on Hurricane Louise.
Plus, our AccuWeather forecast coming up next.
We don't have any rain, but they're getting plenty of rain and a lot more down in the Caribbean.
Yeah, this is a big trouble to those folks in the northern Caribbean. This storm's going to just roll right through those islands, barely losing strength. Let's talk about what's going on outside our doors, then we'll get up close and personal with Louise. 71 degrees outside right now, relative humidity at 62%. The barometer's rising at this point. Winds are southerly at 6 miles per hour. Feels great outside. 84 degrees, the highest number of the day today. 65 had been the low temperature. We'll be dropping down a bit into the high 60s for a lot of folks. Some cooler numbers waiting north and west. Other numbers outside right now, 62 degrees northwestern corner, all the way to 66 out toward the end of the island. Let's jump to the satellite loop, and this is such an impressive shot. You just won't believe it. Rarely happens we can see an eye this well defined in a very strong hurricane. Category 4 again. Saffir-Simpson scale only goes to Category 5. 140 mile per hour winds, peak winds with this storm, and hurricane force winds extend 125 miles out of the eye of this storm. That means that as it continues its move toward the west, it looks like Puerto Rico will be feeling pounded by this storm starting tomorrow afternoon, extending all the way through tomorrow night and well into Wednesday night. This storm is just going to roll right through here. Again, 70 miles. The eye is just off Antigua at this time. That island again will feel the brunt of this storm. A lot of other islands are to come with this. Northern Caribbean, you got to get just to St. Lucia. Everything else north is going to be affected and strongly by this storm. The rest of the island south, for a point anyway, all the way to Martinique, will feel just some tropical storm force winds. But again, it's a powerful, powerful storm. This shot, we put it in here just to show you how far away it is from the U.S. coastline. The current patterns of the week would steer it back out into the Atlantic. Let's hope it stays that way. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll watch it for you hour by hour. 67 degrees is the way we start early in the morning. 56, 62, that kind of number out toward the end of the island. In the numbers, we'll find some 40s in the morning. It's another cool one. 626 is sunrise, and there's plenty of it. All that sunshine will propel us right to 84 degrees by the afternoon. That's well above the normal mark. 80 is where we should be settling this time of year, but things are so dry, it's also going to help us get about 1 or 2 degrees warmer than it would had we a good, solid, soaking rainfall here or there to keep the ground moist this time of year. But 84 is where we're going. It's a comfortable number. Next rainfall in sight? It's only possible by Thursday night and Friday morning. 7 o'clock in the morning, 67 degrees, mostly sunny skies. It's sunny and warm at 84, AccuWeather says on the 5-day plan. Dry for the week. Numbers are just about normal or a little bit above. Again, Thursday night, Friday morning, cold front could bring us a shot at a shower.
Okay. Keep our fingers crossed. Thank
Thanks,
you, Sam. Still ahead, good old-fashioned Labor Day fun.
Getting stuffed with a classic treat. It's coming up next on Eyewitness News. Looking ahead to later today, the 5th of September, Greenpeace and other activists protest against French nuclear testing in the South Pacific. NATO warplanes could resume their bombing of Serb positions in Bosnia. And Orioles shortstop Cal Ripken should tie Lou Gehrig's record of 2,130 consecutive games played. Eyewitness News returns at 6 a.m.
In Birmingham, Alabama, Labor Day was a good excuse to get stuffed. They were absolutely pie-eyed at the moon pie eating contest in Tanny Hill Park. The winner of the big competition crammed 8.5 of the chocolate-covered treats into his mouth in less than 5 minutes. Looked like he had a few more, doesn't it? He won $50 and a chance to let out his belch one more notch.
Yeah, that's a moon pie guy, I can tell.
And that's the news for now. I'm Greg Hurst.
Nightline's coming up next. For Greg, Sam, Scott, the entire Eyewitness News team, I'm Diana Williams. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.